Welcome in another edition of the H&H podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Henry H.
Yep.
Lake.
Yep.
And
Hicks.
Hicks.
With the H.
How you doing?
I'm good, brother.
You
good to
good?
see you, man.
You ready for the fair? No, you're not. When you take that long and I ask you the question, no, you're not ready for the fair. But it's all good.
We have to get mentally prepared for that.
Yeah.
And they're making parking more difficult this year.
And the fair is different for us and people that are in media,
right,
than for the average state fair goer. Like,
Look,
this is different. Like,
it's crazy.
Because when we show up, it is all eyes are on you.
Yep.
You have to shake hands,
yep,
kiss babies, be on, and you're dealing with that zoo effect where everybody's looking like,
yeah,
is that Ahmad-Hicks?
I hate the staring.
It's awkward.
I hate it. Yeah.
So the fair is an awkward event for us, but it is what it is.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's still fun.
I love the weather that we're gonna have this year for the fair. I think the weather is absolutely phenomenal because I think being out there in 90-degree heat, which is what it should be in August, but 90-degree heat for a couple of hours with a toddler, whew, that's trying times, you know. So I'm excited, but my big gripe about the fair, and I'm not from Minnesota, so bear with me when I say this, the prices, man. I think the prices of the fair are just, since I've gotten here, the tickets have gone up. Mm-hmm. I feel like the cost of the food has gone up, the cost of the drinks has gone up, and now they're charging $20 to $25 to park on streets around the fair, which I understand because you're interrupting these people's lives in their neighborhood for 2 weeks at a time. So I get, paying, but man,
but that's what you do though. That's what the fair is. You pay to go.
Yeah.
Dive into some fun foods and stuff that you typically don't get year round.
I joke. I was like, a family of 3, you're spending $200 minimum.
Boy, did you see that? And this is, you talking about prices of food. Prices of food in grocery stores jumped up 44% in July. So it is what it is right now. That's the world.
Going to the grocery store shopping for, look, we're off track here a little bit, but going to the grocery store and shopping for just like one specific meal, all the ingredients would be like $50. And I'm like, we should have just went to McDonald's. Like, this is crazy, man. Like, we should just went to McDonald's or something. So, crazy time. But nonetheless, I have to go out there next week, do some stuff with the Gopher men's and women's basketball team. So I'm excited about that. Taking my little one and meet up with Simone tomorrow there. So, look, the fair is always a good time for me. Sure. One day is all I need.
We love the fans.
Yeah,
we
I love being out there, talking to people, getting to meet new people. So, like, it is like, a hassle sometimes, but it is really, like, refreshing to be out there, meet a lot of the people that watch you and support you.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's get it kick-started with let's talk about the Vikings. They made some news yesterday. Harrison Phillips, he gets traded to the New York Jets for 2 6th-round picks, I think?
As a 6th-round pick and a pick swap in the next year, yeah.
Okay. And then we also parted with a 7th-round pick or whatever. Mm-hmm. Your thoughts?
Okay, so Harrison Phillips was a starter for 3 years for the Vikings.
Yeah, and a good one.
A good one. You bring in Javon Hargrave, Jonathan Allen, elite players in their class, And so it's like you looked at that and the whole training camp, I'm like, all right, well, who's going to start, in a 4-3 defense? Because you got Jonathan Grenard, Andrew Van Ginkel outside. And then, like, behind him, you also had Jalen Redmond. You got Taki. You got Elijah Williams. Like, you got Ty Ingram Dawkins. Like, they got a ton of depth. And so when I was looking at that line last week, I'm like, man, like, a lot of these guys can play. Like, outside of Javon Hargrave, Jonathan Allen, Harrison Phillips, like, a lot of these guys behind them can play. So when I saw the move yesterday, first I didn't see him at practice, and he was out there the day before doing conditioning afterwards. So when I didn't see him at practice yesterday, I'm like, all right, well, that's a red flag. What's going on? Yeah. So then as soon as I leave the facility, we get a notification like, oh, he's been traded. I'm like, well, kind of makes sense. He's getting paid a decent salary, and there are guys behind him that maybe aren't as good right now, but they're young and they're athletic, and they can be as good as Harrison Phillips. So you kind of understand. Plus, I think the team has to bring in a wide receiver. So I think them moving that cash from Harrison Phillips, freeing up about $3.5–4 million, makes it a little sweeter, getting some draft picks to go out there and go get you another wide receiver from somewhere.
I'll say this. The moment that the news broke, the very first person I thought of was 2 people, actually. It was you, and it was Brian Baldinger from NFL Network because of the Elijah Williams, because of how well he's played in the first couple of preseason games, and him being an undrafted guy coming in, kind of, making some I don't want to say headlines, but
he's making some waves.
Yeah, the Baldy breakdowns, which are fabulous. And so I was like, man, I told my producer, I'm like, dude, we got to get Brian Baldinger on the show. Was going to try to do it last night, or was going to try to do it for tonight, but he's traveling, so he can't be on the show. But we'll make that happen real soon. But that was the first thing I thought of was the depth.
Yeah, there's a ton of depth on that defensive line. So, like, look, Harrison Phillips was a glue guy. Like, he's someone you wanted around. He was a leader for this team. He was a captain for this team. But ultimately, he was expendable. Like, when you talk about Javon Hargrave and Jonathan Allen, they are getting paid a bag, so they have to play, like, regardless. And then it's like you're not going to trot out 3 starting defensive tackles. Like, you're not. And you could throw a Dallas Turner in the mix, before you trot out 3 DTs. So, look, it sucks to see him go, but it kind of made sense because they do have a lot of young, talented depth behind him.
And I feel like with the Minnesota Vikings defensively, they're an organization that operates in the way of the top-tier college basketball programs. And so follow me on this.
Okay.
So, like, with Duke, with Kansas, with certain programs, they over-recruit. And so it's like, okay, yeah, you're really, really good, but these guys are McDonald's All-Americans too. And if you don't show up the way that we thought you would show up, that other person's getting the minutes. And they keep stocking and stockpiling all the different talent, whatever. We've seen years where North Carolina was so stacked, man, they had to move guys up out of there because these guys just weren't getting any playing time, and they were like 5 stars. So I look at the Vikings defensively, they kind of operate in the same way.
I agree. I mean, outside of the cornerback position, I think everywhere else they are loaded. I think they have a ton of depth, and I think that was the one thing that we talked about entering training camp was it was going to be competition at a lot of different spots. And I think that's what we saw with the defensive tackle room is that they had a lot of competition, and some of these guys rose up to the competition, and you're like, you can't let them go, especially like a Ty Ingram Dawkins and Elijah Williams, a rookie undrafted free agent from Morgan State. Like, this is the guy who you can have on a rookie deal for the next 5 years. Like, so you're talking about you're paying Harrison Phillips like $7.5 million a year. You're going to be able to get Elijah Williams for about 4 years for $3 million. So it's like you just save a ton of money. So hate to see him go, but I think Kwesi Adofo-Mensah did a good one with that pick.
The other thing though, and you briefly mentioned this, is about like how does this impact them trying to acquire a wide receiver?
Got to get one.
And they got to get one.
They got to get one.
They got to get one. I mean, the Jordan Addison stuff, we knew he was going to miss time. It's 3 games. It is what it is. JJ's going to need somebody else to be alongside him to step up. I really feel like maybe we haven't seen enough of what Felton hasn't shown enough to have any faith. Because I feel like if going into training camp, you look at him and he shows you that he's capable, then I think you think lesser of having to be, in a position where you got to go ahead and make a move. They are in a position where they have to go
make a move. And I think part of that problem is they weren't even giving Felton those reps to prove he was, wide receiver worthy to play in this offense. And I also think that it's a double-edged sword because when he did get those reps, he didn't capitalize. He made a lot of pre-snap penalties. He had some crucial drops. And then yesterday in an 11-on-11 scrimmage that they had at practice where they weren't going down to the ground, Ty Felton left practice with an injury. Went to the sideline, didn't come back in. Jordan Addison, same thing. First time I'm reporting this, but Jalen Naylor had a cast on his left hand yesterday. I saw him in the training room, and it's like wrapped up from here all the way up. So it's like, all right, they say that's day-to-day, but it's like my man's in a cast. It's a soft cast, not a hard cast, but it's also like makes me believe that it's a little bit longer than day-to-day. So maybe you're talking about week to week. So potentially for J.J. McCarthy, you're going to be going to Chicago Monday Night Football with Justin Jefferson, who missed the entire training camp, who will give you 10 days of reps and team drills, maybe. No Jordan Addison, and a Jalen Naylor who has a dinged-up hand right now. The wide receivers behind them who were – so when – Addison got hurt yesterday. Ty Felton got hurt yesterday, and Justin Jefferson wasn't running in team drills. This was your wide receiver group. Thayer Thomas, Jay Sean Jones, Tim Jones. You're not trotting that wide receiver group out there with J.J. McCarthy in week 1. Absolutely not. You need more experience.
You need to go
and Lucky Jackson, excuse me.
You need to acquire a receiver, but you also need to be scouring the waiver wire.
Absolutely.
The moment that these teams start making these cuts, you got to be evaluating all of that. I do want to say one thing, though. Can we stop with the Adam Thielen stuff?
Thank you. Thank you. Did you see Kay Adams yesterday at practice with Kevin O'Connell?
I did not.
She was like, can we just bring Adam Thielen back? she's like, that's one thing that I'm rooting for, just bring Adam Thielen back. And he was like, first time I heard that, like.
Yeah, it's not a thing, people.
My thing is he didn't want to be a decoy when he was here. He's not going to want to be a decoy now.
Yeah, and not only that, and mind you, I love Adam Thielen. I've been a big advocate for him, even when I was living in Kansas City, and just kind of calling people out on social media that were kind of leery about, or questioning how good of a receiver he was. I'm like, no, this dude's elite. He's top tier.
For sure.
But, man, age catches up with everybody. And I'm not saying that he's not worthy of playing this season, but the injuries, they take their toll. And when when the wheels fall off, they fall off hard.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're at that tipping point with Adam Thielen. And I just don't. There's just his run was impeccable here. It was outstanding. I think we just need to divorce ourselves from thinking about it.
Amazing career for Adam Thielen. I will go on the record and say that, especially what he did coming from Mankato and everything like that. But like you
Vikings
said,
Ring of Honor.
Exactly. But there comes a point in time where wide receivers lose a little bit of their burst. And at this point, that's what J.J. McCarthy and this offense needs. They don't need another possession wide receiver or a guy who will be where he's supposed to be. Of course, they need all those guys, but they need someone who can take the top off of defense. And if you're not going to have Jalen Naylor, you're not going to have Jordan Addison, you need speed, you need athleticism, you need strong hands. And you need somebody who can create separation right now. That's what's going to help J.J. McCarthy. Not making him throw people open or, fit a ball in a tight window. We want a wide receiver that can come in, create separation, make these throws easy for J.J. McCarthy early on. So I think they'll be in the market, and it's kind of like you said, I think they're waiting for the final preseason game to see who hits the waiver wires and whatnot. And then there's still a bunch of names out there. You're talking about Odell Beckham. I think he's a little older. I don't think, he may be a great fit. Maybe a Tyler Boyd. I think, he could come in and be, serviceable as a number 3 wide receiver. He did that in Cincinnati. That was kind of his role. So a couple of names to look at, but some names are coming off the board, so it'll be something that we're paying attention to here in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. The Minnesota Timberwolves were in the news yesterday.
Boy.
There was a report from the Sports Business Journal, and then there was added, reporting by Chris Hine from the Minnesota Star-Tribune about the Timberwolves laying off roughly right around 40 employees.
That's crazy.
That are behind the scenes, nobody in basketball operations. But to me, this is concerning. Okay, and this is the reason why I say it's concerning.
Okay.
I understand that it's not basketball operations. I understand that it could be maybe a ticket person or sales and marketing, and we've heard stuff like that. Whatever. I think that whenever people come in and they're in a rush to make moves like this, that's not a good sign. And I really don't like that. They actually even let go of Sarah Perez,
communications,
who's amazing. She's amazing. And look, I'm not sitting here saying that A-Rod or that Marc Lore, when you have a new company, you acquire something, that you don't bring people in. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not sitting here. We know that that's the case with any sports team and organization. But there is something to be said about continuity and about stability. That's a lot of people that you're moving out. And I was texting with people in the sports business industry, and one of the texts that I got back this morning, because I talked to some people yesterday, they're like, this is not sure that I'm in love with this, but we get it. This morning, though, I got a text from a lawyer, sports lawyer, that says, to be honest with you, this organization really doesn't have anybody with great experience in terms of running a team. Who's the new CEO or COO? Ryan Tanke is in Houston with the Rockets. Ethan Casson is now the president of the Dallas Mavericks. So what are we doing? I'm a little bit concerned by that. And let's just call it for what it is. And I'm not trying to ruffle no feathers. Marc Lore, A-Rod, I want no smoke. I want no smoke, okay? Let's be clear. Love you guys. I'm looking forward to the next wave of Timberwolves basketball. But I'm a Minnesotan. There's no ties with ownership in Minnesota. Marc Lore and A-Rod are still getting to know us as Minnesotans. when you go back to the Harv and Marv days, man, Marv was from North Minneapolis, man. He started Northwest Swimming Racket Club, which eventually became Lifetime Fitness, and like that's Minnesota through and through.
Right.
Glenn Taylor, Minnesota through and through. Mankato. So like, I know that Timberwolves fans are all about change, and I'm not anti-change, but Marc Lore and A-Rod still represent being outsiders coming into our fold.
You know, it's funny you say that because I just watched, I'm watching on Netflix right now, America's Team with Jerry Jones, the gambler, and I forgot the other name of the title, but he bought the Cowboys, was from Arkansas, and everyone around town thought it was a horrible idea. Within 4 years, he had took that team to the Super Bowl with the new coach. Do you not think that Marc Lore and Alex Rodriguez can do the same thing here?
I'm not saying that they can.
Okay.
I believe that they can.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just think they need more experience behind them.
Well, I don't. Did Jerry kind of blow up stuff?
Yeah. He fired Tom Landry.
No. That's a football decision.
Right.
I'm talking about on all the other.
He fired the GM, and then he hired his kids. And he was the president and GM. He ran everything. He fired everybody behind the scenes, basically, from what I got from that episode last night. And he brought his own staff in. So,
and I'm not saying it's not going to work. I'm just saying that there's a lot of questions.
To fire the communications director, and the statement that they said is they want to get someone with more of a face and can help shape the franchise and the path that they want to go. I didn't understand that because I don't understand. I guess maybe I'm not around.
Winning, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess I'm not around enough teams to know how a communications person shapes the face of your franchise moving forward. I guess I was really confused by that, but shout out to their communications team, and whatnot. Look, you got to deal with some stuff, in the world of sports sometimes. But I know Sarah, who I know did get fired, she said it. She was always first class to work with. She always responded 100%. Right away, got us whatever soundbite that we missed.
Communication was always great. So no headaches ever.
Yeah, so shout out to her and the rest of that team. Hopefully they bounce back, find somewhere to go. But I guess right now it's just in Lore and Rodriguez that we trust, and we got to see that they know what they're doing. They seem to have made a couple of moves behind the scenes that that bode well, like building an owner suite, things like that. Like to modernize Target Center, make it more appealing for high-dollar guests to come in.
I guess what I'm saying is that I think that they need to understand that they're still in a prove-it phase. They're not – Marc Lore and A-Rod are not in a phase where it is, okay, yeah, we're all good. We believe and trust everything that you say and everything that you do. Now, we're still in a you got to show us.
How long is that prove-it phase for you?
The next couple years. The next couple of years.
They got to get him to the finals, I feel like.
The next couple of years, Glenn Taylor officially is out. You're on the clock. You still got to prove it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Speaking of being on the clock, is your boy manager Rocco Baldelli on the clock, you think?
No. Remember, he got that contract extension next year, so he's...
That doesn't mean anything.
I know, but I think he's fine.
What's up with the Twins right now, Lake?
The rest of the way, they just got to show that some of these young guys can play. That's all that I want to see. There's a few concerning things in that. I don't know if you saw this last night, but Bailey Ober, because I did the post-game final pitch, Bailey Ober was talking about how, like, he had something that popped up. Because remember, essentially, what was it, a month or so ago when he went on the injury list, it was like his back or something like that, and then something else kind of came up last night. I'm like, do we need to shut him down?
Yeah.
Do we need to shut down Joe Ryan? Joe Ryan said on Tuesday that he wasn't feeling 100%. He didn't say that it was necessarily like a muscle thing or back or whatever, but it was some sort of ailment. I seemed off. Look, man, I'm not in the business of saying that the fans don't want to see the best players and pitchers and everyday position players, but if some of your guys that are going to be a part of your organization are ailing, then you might want to shut them down.
58-68, 16 and a half games back of first in the Central, have a .460 winning percentage right now. I don't see why you keep playing any of your stars at this point. Joe Ryan, Pablo Lopez, I don't think any of them should be playing right now.
Yeah, but you can't do that to your fans at this point. Well,
you already hit them below the belt.
Yeah, but fans are still coming to see Byron Buxton. Fans are still coming to see, Royce Lewis, even though Royce Lewis is slumping.
I'm about to say.
I'm just saying.
Look, I'm with you.
You want it to be really empty? Like, it was empty last night. You want it to be totally? You want me to be the only person there?
That's how I look in March when the season starts.
It'll be a Tuesday game. It'll be me and Jim Rich just hanging out in the press box.
For Twins Tuesday. Look, I'm not saying that. I think people should go out and support if they want to support. I'm just saying it's tough sledding right now. These young guys have showed some sparks and something to have a little bit of optimism. But the Pohlads came out and basically said, we're not selling. We're going to keep the team. And we're bringing on 2 new investors, but we know nothing about the investors. We know nothing about what they bring to. So it's like, why should we be believers in the Pohlads and this Twins organization when they aren't even being fully transparent with fans?
Well, how about this? How about, look, because I see what you're saying about, like, resting guys and not risking guys and stuff like that. First off, you know this. They're competitors. Guys still want to go out there and play. They still want to go out there and earn their money. Secondly, if you're going to do anything like that where you're going to rein it in, I say you do it once you get into September. Because right now in August, for the remaining home games that you have in August, you know what you're competing with?
What?
The State Fair. And so you want to have guys available so that you can have some butts in the seats to be able to showcase your product. After the fair is over, then we're transitioning to what? People going to be watching some football.
Yep. The final home series in the month of August, the San Diego Padres.
Oh, okay.
That's good baseball.
Okay, Manny Machado and
Fernando Tatis.
Yeah, Tatis.
That's but they got to win.
Yeah,
they got to win, like you said. All right, well. That's another episode of the H&H podcast. This week, recapping everything. Vikings play their final preseason game on Friday versus the Tennessee Titans. Former linebacker Brian Asamoah will get a chance to go up against his former team. And a lot of young guys like Max Brosmer will try and make the team for the Vikings. So we'll, of course, be watching that this weekend, and we'll recap it all next week for you guys on this show. So make sure you follow, like, subscribe, and tune in next week. We appreciate you tapping in with us.